things to consider if you want to purchase real estate abroad as an expat. So the typical thing for expatriates is that they live abroad from their home country for a certain period of time, like often a couple of years, and then they move. So in the difference to immigrants, they are not stable. They have not decided, like, I immigrate and then I stay for however my whole life. It's rather that they have in mind that they will be there for 3-4 years, longer or shorter, and then move again. Despite that flexible situation, buying a real estate abroad can still be the best option to do. Like, especially if it's difficult for you to rent because of whatever. Sometimes it's easier to buy because you have the cash on hand. It's easier to buy than to get a renting contract because people don't know you, you're a foreigner, so maybe you don't have the guarantees that allows you to rent a flat. And otherwise, of course, it's a very good thing to build up your own wealth and not paying rent to a landlord, but to keep paying it into your own pocket and to profit from the increasing prices in real estate, or to save up money. So if you live abroad, there are some countries in which foreigners cannot be the owner of real estate. So many people don't know that, but even in Spain until the 1970s, foreigners could not own land there. Of course, today that's different. But there are still countries like that, for example, Thailand. So if you buy real estate there, you are not the owner. You have paid for it, but you have a kind of arrangement with a local person, may it be a friend, a facilitator, or even your partner, that they are on paper the owner, but you are not. So if you get into any personal conflict with that person and you have not securized the whole contractual structure around it, you have paid for it, fine, but it's not yours. Keep that in mind. Many people make that choice to anyway buy the land over there and have a local helping them. But be aware that if there's any problem, officially it's not yours. So you can lose it very easily. The second point to consider is if the country in which you are living in can still kick you out easily. Which kind of residency do you have? Is it permanent? Is it attached to any kind of job? Is it whatever, a work visa for 2 years? So what is your situation? Meaning, if your paper and your residency and permit to stay does not get extended, you cannot take your real estate with you. That's obvious. So you need a local to manage it for you, either to rent it out or to sell it. And selling it quickly before you leave is often not possible, even possible, because this kind of paper is not extended, is often last minute. If you have 1 month to wrap up your home, you're already good. Some people have literally 3 days. And even if you have 1 month, you cannot sell a house in 1 month without no, I mean it's impossible. Even if you get a super discount, what you don't want to, all the paperwork at the notary, it's not feasible. So you definitely need the local to help you. That's possible, of course, but it still means that it adds up for you on some paperwork. In addition to this heavy situation in which you have to leave the country quite unexpectedly. So keep that in mind. It doesn't prevent you from buying, but keep in mind that you already know someone who can help you in case you need to leave, and someone who can manage your property for you, and that is trustworthy. The third characteristic to consider is, of course, how well do you know the area? Have you been there already? Have you lived there? Have you maybe rented a flat? Do you know how houses are built in that country or in that city? which kind of materials do they use, like which age does the construction have, are you familiar with how bathrooms are made, how kitchens are made? So if not, it's I think a good thing to visit many flats, to not be surprised and to, like, for example, you could think that a certain thing is standard in the country, but it's not, it's below standard. So you don't want to pay more for something that other people would consider below standard. So if you have already visited friends over there, seen their houses, or rented a flat, you will know, like, by having seen whatever, how many flats, how good they are, and what is standard, what is below standard, and what is luxury category in that country. So see as many as you can to be able to judge the standards. Of course, you can ask real estate agents to help you out with that. That's definitely a good thing, but you should only also get your own feeling of what is acceptable for you as a standard, what area is something that you like, and to have a kind of own feeling how the area evolves. Does it get better over time, or is it in decline? Which kind of people would like to live there? Who could be the buyer if you want to sell your house again? To which kind of people does this kind of apartment appeal that you want to purchase? And the fourth thing, if you're an expat, like, you leave your home country and the people over there have their own knowledge on how to buy real estate, on how to finance a house, and how the steps are going. So if you ask them, they will tell you what is true in their national situation. But if you buy abroad, you need to know, like, the local differences. Like in most countries of the world, you would go to a notary public. I mean, this kind of land registers is something quite universal, but the steps in how you do it are very different and differ in detail. Of course, and it's important to exchange here with locals that have bought it and that knows the steps in their own country, or to exchange then with people that have bought in the country in which you will buy. Great if they have the same nationality as you have, because then they have been facing also the same obstacles as you. And financing is very different. Like, some banks in some countries, they can give you only 10 years fixed interest rate. Others give you 25 years fixed interest rate. And in other countries, they give you variable from start. So this is nothing that you can negotiate if you take on a private credit for buying a house. This is something that the national laws or the banks will tell you what is standard over there. So this is not something that you can influence, and you need to accept the conditions that are in the country in which you buy and which you get the credit. And even if you're a foreigner and you have not been long enough in the country, maybe they won't even give you a credit at all. So there you will need to check in your home country if they can give you a credit for abroad. Or, of course, if you have the cash on hand, that's obviously, as always, the best situation.